Happy holidays! Hello, fellow friends and Facebookers out there. I'm just sitting here enjoying a coffee, waiting for my friend Tara to join me. Hey, Tara! I see you're on live. Come on!
Hello.
Hello!
Yes, I love it. So fuzzy and white. Merry Christmas.
So, welcome to the Heart of Real Estate with Erin LaFleur and Tara Flynn. We
Hello.
are coming to you live today from the coziness of our homes. I thought how appropriate today, but to wear a little festive hat. Today we're going to talk to you a bit about our thoughts on the holidays
Yes.
and how they land for us and for others, and maybe how to live a little bit less stressful life during the holidays. Have more fun and let it stay true to what it really means and needs to mean for you. So I thought I'd put on my cozy hat and cozy sweater. Hey, mom, you're watching. Thank you for the sweater, by the way. My mom knit this sweater.
Nice.
So it's a wonderful, cozy addition to this. And I got my cup of Joe. And so let's go. How are you doing today, Tara?
I am well. I am caught a little bit of that cold, so I
Mm,
apologize if I'm a little bit spacey at times, but that's how that goes a little bit. But I'm here and I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad that the kids are both in school so I could have a relaxed day. So that's nice when you're sick to be able to have
yeah,
some
I'm
time
glad you
with
can
you.
recharge your batteries today. Make sure that you get all the rest that you need.
Exactly. Thanks, lady. Yeah, so excited to be here. So what does the holidays mean for you?
Hmm. That's a really good question, and we've started to see the hoopla, everybody's starting to get into the zone and put up lights, and you can definitely tell that it's December now because the malls are packed every single day and every single weekend. The parking lots are packed. People are buying and preparing and starting to, get all those last minute details together. So, what a better time for us to just explore what it means for us so that we are staying true and genuine. To me, I feel like the holidays are really just about being connected and getting grounded and spreading joy and light and love, right? And so togetherness, I think, is more important than some of the stuff. How about you, Tara? What do you think?
I I completely agree. We have presents at a minimum usually at our house. My
Yep.
kids make crafts. It's what we do with our for our gifts. I don't have them go to the store and buy stuff. And if they do go to the store, they buy something that they could make. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, like we don't just buy things, but then we don't have cable either. So my kids don't have that constant marketing at them for what they want. When I first
Yeah.
got with my husband, he was always like, "How come they always want other kids' presents or other kids' toys?" And I'm like, "Because that's all they see.
Yep.
They don't actually see the commercials to say this is what I want. They play with that toy and then they like it, so then they want it, right? Like." So
Mm-hmm.
it's a totally different thing when they don't actually see them all the time. Commercials, 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 right? So
Well, and isn't
I
that the
find that
truth that Christmas, the holidays, not just Christmas, but a lot of this time of year has greatly become a consumeristic or
Mhm.
consumer driven event, essentially, right? And it feeds into our psychology. So even though your girls don't watch commercials, they see what other kids have and they have the desires. And so marketers and companies and stores and everything play into that psychology, and they know that we want to consume, that we want more stuff. And so the latest and greatest, this is a perfect time of year to get the kids really sold on all that, so they lean into the parents more and creates this environment where it needs to just be about a thing, a toy or a gift or a, I don't know, the latest and greatest of what's new on the market. Like every year there seems to be something, like I don't want to name any names, but there's that token toy of the year
Oh,
that
totally.
every kid needs, and it's like the stimulating thing. And how long does a kid actually play for it? Would it be something that's actually enduring beyond January? I don't know. I feel like some of those, especially those ones that are the hottest toy of the year, they lose their shock value almost within that first day. But maybe
Actually, Hatchable was it for last year, and I remember my
yeah.
oldest Aria. She's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Hatchable, but as soon as it hatches, it's not a toy anymore, so I'm not going to ask for it." Like she's
Right.
7, she's 7, and she's like, "Well, I'm going to all play with it one time, and I'm not going to have a toy. I don't want it." But she
That's
like
all. That's
filtered that
hilarious that
through.
your 7-year-old knows about planned obsolescence already. Obsolescence? How do you say that word? Like to
Yeah,
be
I
obsolete.
don't
Like
know,
they
but I
plan.
follow. Yeah, she was just like, "I don't want to put this on my list because I'm not going to get it." So like, it's only going to play with it one time, and then it's
Yeah.
over. So yeah,
Well, and
but that's
so
it.
what are you, to our viewers and our guests, what are your opinions about gift giving around the holiday season? Does it have to be a specific type of gift, or do you have any traditions around the types and when you give your gifts? Hi, Phil. What do you think about Christmas and the gifts in the gift giving season? Do you give gifts for your children? Have you created any special traditions around that? Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Both Tara and I have young families. And so we're creating traditions and we're continuing to evolve that. But it's always great to hear what other people do so we can just gain some other insights, right, Tara?
Totally, absolutely. Like well, I know for us, we do. My kids get one Santa gift and one gift from us, and then again they craft. So they
Yep,
craft each other gifts. So we usually go to
I like that.
Staples, go down that wood aisle, and they paint each other a frame, and then they pick the picture they liked or whatever. But and then for aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas, we craft them. Last year we did
Yep.
coasters. The year before that we did pillows. The year before that, like we just make presents, and it's in the making that they remember giving the gift, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Tell that story. You were just telling to me before we went on. I thought that was a really adorable story.
So 2 years ago, we made pillows, reverse pillows. So we had a big long string of white fabric that I
Yeah,
emptied up white glue on them, and they got the kids all naked and in their buff, and they slid across the fabric and got all like messy and had a heck of a good time getting messy. Then we dried the fabric, and then we painted them. Each kid got one color, so it ended up being like
yeah,
three paints. Painted it, let it dry, and then I washed the fabric and the glue came off. So it was
yeah.
like a negative
That's cool.
painting.
Yeah,
But my son still remembers painting and getting all crazy with the glue. Like he was 3 at the time, and he still remember that time we put the fabric on and we got to get all, messy and play with the paint. So it's like that stuff that they remember in
yeah.
giving that gift. So when they go over to grandma's house or they see that, that's what they remember. And I think that's the power of gift giving is
Mhm.
he's not going to remember going to the store and buying grandma something, but he's not going to forget, you know, painting
Absolutely.
with glue.
Yeah, and you've taken the gift giving process and made tradition around it, which I think absolutely is something worth talking about in this conversation. I think traditions should show up in families all throughout the year. I don't mean to should, but I feel very strongly that traditions are some of the fabric, the cultural fabric of families, really, right? Like things that the kids can start to build memories around and do that they can look forward to, right? So we're just trying to figure out how that lands for us and for the kids to some extent, but we decided that decorating is going to be something that we'd like to do. And I was absolutely honestly a little bit surprised with how grateful and excited Alyssa was for this process. She has come up to Michelle and I many times since we put the tree up. Thank you, mommy. Thank you, daddy. Christmas tree. Well, she says Miss Tree right now. Thank you, Miss Tree. Thank you, Miss Tree. And she's so overjoyed with just the time that we spent to put up the tree. And she got to stand on the chairs with her brother and decorate it. And I'll show you right here. So we have two little tabletop Christmas trees. Just because
Yeah.
that was the way that we rolled before kids. And next year we plan to get a bigger tree when everybody's a little bit more participatory. But it lit their day up. And so now we have this for the rest of the month. It could be part of our narrative and storyline around the holiday season, but trying to find these little things that we can do that are traditions. I was talking to some other moms about this, and one mom takes her kid on. They go to a Christmas party every year, and so they've started going on a little train ride together. It's becoming like part of their tradition, and there's so many things that you can do that aren't around buying something or going out and you know, I don't know, just following all the everyday traditions or whatever. And it's just it can be so customizable for your family and unique.
Yeah.
Even right down to the holidays themselves, right? Like why do we all have to subscribe to the stress model where it's go 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 as hard as you can, buy all the presents, get all the right stuff. It has to be 100% perfect. And then nobody actually gets to enjoy themselves because they've been too busy or too stressed trying to make it all come together perfectly or by somebody else's standards, and it's even harder for them because their value systems aren't buying into it, right? Like they don't even want to be doing what they're doing, but they've chosen to do that because that's what society normally does, right? So instead, I think we all need to learn how to really own our own traditions and our own processes to create more love and joy around this season
Yeah.
and not come out
No.
of it feeling broke, like absolutely tapped on resources, whether it's financially or physically and mentally, emotionally, right?
Hmm. No, totally. Like, I know, because I don't host, but I know, there's a lot of pressure for
Yeah.
the hosts. And you could see that, like the big meals is a big thing and having everything. And like, you don't really remember if the mashed potatoes were funny or this was, you know what I mean? Because it's really just sitting around the table and
Yeah.
having the conversations and the jokes and the laughs that go along with it. And like,
Yeah.
we don't do gifts for the adults. We do a gift exchange that comes along with a game. And like,
Yeah.
was talking about that with Arya
Yeah.
yesterday, and she remembers us playing and the laughter. She's like, "That's the thing you guys do around the table, right? When you laugh a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, because
I
it's
love
the
that. Yeah.
game that we play more than the present. Half the time, you're just like, okay, okay, but it's the bond and the laughing and the moment you have with the game that's the best part, the togetherness and the fun and the play. That
Absolutely. Play is a big part for me, I think. Yeah, I was trying to get my head around this idea before we had this chat today, and like brought me to think about what all this stuff actually really means to me, right? Like what the holidays mean and this time of year and even just how my body feels right now. Like I generally like to hibernate in the wintertime. I'm pretty sure that most of us do feel a little bit slower, a little bit more desirous for rest and recharging and such. And if you live in a world, like many of us do, your whole year is go, go, go. There's constantly stuff on the go. So maybe there's a place where peace, like rest, peace and rest can kind of flow through the holidays a little bit more. If we had a bit less expectations about how it was supposed to fit into some sort of like Christmas box or holiday box. I don't want to just be like Christmas, but I think there's so much more room for enjoyment and love and creation together without the pressure of it having to be a specific way. And I
I
think we all
completely
just put all that pressure on ourselves. It's nobody, you know, um, there's no survivalistic component of the holidays. We need to understand that. Like, if we didn't do certain things in the holidays, we will go on, and life will be just as good as it was before, if not probably a little bit less stressful. And I'm not trying to make the holidays wrong. I feel like I have maybe a bit of a strong opinion right now, but it's more just to suggest that it doesn't have to be. Like nobody should feel the pressure to have to be a certain way. And it
hmm
feels even more so like there's more reason to want to be that way with the kids. We got to make it feel a certain way for them, or it has to land, it has to be special, it has to this. I even noticed how it showed up for me on the day that we decorated. Like I kind of had an expectation for how it would feel. And so if people weren't all on board, then maybe it didn't feel quite like it could have, but it still was wonderful. And looking back on it, I just see where can we continue to bring that forward as the season evolves, you
No,
know? Just
yeah,
have a
and
little bit
especially when
more.
your kids are so young, it's like you feel more like what in tune with what it relates to you, because that's how you want it to land for
Yeah.
your children. And like, yeah, the first couple of years it was like, what are going to be my traditions? Because I don't follow the traditional Christmas model either. Like it's not what aligns to my soul, and I wanted to make sure that I parent in a way that aligns with my soul. Like Easter, like that's another holiday that was really hard for me to grasp and how am I going to bring Easter into mine because I'm not that traditional Christian view for myself, right? Where Easter, besides chocolate, what do you have that's really aligned with that? So, yeah, and then it is a lot of like trying to make it perfect, but it's in the moments that are imperfect that makes it perfect, I
Yeah,
guess.
I agree with that fully. That's the way I tend to operate as well, and I feel like, especially because, we're not necessarily subscribers to a faith that creates that structure or whatever. I think that the holidays are a wonderful time to, find your own way of making your life special or add that panache or the little bit of whatever into your life, right? So you don't have to necessarily be, but I don't know. I just don't think you have to just subscribe to anything you don't want to. Like you said, like it's just learning how to make it your own, And so in our world, our version of what Santa Claus and on the gifts and all that storyline is going to be different than the next person, and that's okay. And it doesn't have to, overlap or interrupt. We can all do our own thing, I think, collectively, and spread love to each other and just share time. Like when it comes down to it, is it not just really about being together and spending that quality time together and being grateful for the life that we have?
But then maybe people's love language is gifts. Like a
Yeah,
gift as a love language is probably my farthest one away
absolutely.
from me.
Yeah.
So maybe that is something different for those people whose love language is gifts. But again, it doesn't have to go down to your Chargex card. I think it's more in the sentimental of it versus the pressure to have the price.
Well, and like you mentioned earlier, maybe it's not always just like maybe gifts are your love language, and maybe it's not just about receiving them. Maybe it's also about really leaning into giving them and learning the cooperative value of how giving a gift is like receiving a gift. I want to teach the kids that too. When you mentioned that, I kind of started to think about like, where could we start to fold in more giving or volunteer time or doing something with the kids where they can give as much as they're receiving and have the giving be a part of their receiving. You know what I mean? Like have it be a back and forth
Yeah,
flow a little bit more. Because
absolutely.
it's so easy for the kids just to feel like it's a stimulating time for presents, right? Whatever way the narrative evolves, when there's a bunch of presents put down in front of a kid, they're kind of like, oh, well, it's never going to end. Presents, woo, right? Like, how do you create that
Yes.
scenario where then maybe they say, oh, I've got a lot of presents. What could I do for somebody else now, right?
But then you're at the kids where your kids are the age where you put a couple of little toys in the bottom of the box. They're gonna love the big box.
Ah,
Like
totally.
that was a
Yep.
huge awareness is like you're when they're little, like I had more want to please, I guess. So that they had to play with the box. You're just like, really?
Yeah.
Like the box? Like we went and bought most of our stuff so on Black Friday Amazon sale just to catch some deals.
Yeah.
So that's where we bought most of our things. And they came in a big box. Well, that box has been a staple of our living room play for the last week and a half now. Like it's not so much the things, but it's the moments that they're gonna remember more than the things that you buy them. And
I
it's the
love that you're
awareness.
saying that. I'm going to turn my camera around for a quick second. You can see that DeWalt box. So that was literally our family Christmas present last year. Michelle and I usually often buy a big present for the family, like something that's productive or we can experience
Yes.
with it or whatever. So we bought a compound miter saw last year, which I was so excited about. But the kids, they want the box. The box has literally lived in our room or our living room for a good while now.
Yeah.
My mom here is writing, volunteering is an excellent tradition option. Mom, I agree with you fully. And I think that maybe even doing something like on the bridge of November to December is a good way to kind of kick that off. And it's almost like a shift into a season of giving. I wonder where all we can get the kids involved even from their age. Maybe that's something worth looking into some more, right? Like Habitat, I did that just the other day, on Friday and Saturday, and it's got me into this mentality and this mode of contribution and
Yep.
connectedness. And so I feel like I resonate with that a lot, and I'd wonder where we can keep that going throughout the holiday season.
Yeah. Well, I've actually emailed Leduc volunteering. I
Yep.
just asked, like, they Leduca's really into volunteering. We have like volunteer banquets and all that. So I actually just sent them an email a couple of days ago, maybe on Sunday or Monday, and just asked, like, I want to bring my kids into some volunteering and I want to be able to share our time together with others. And like, we only usually get 1 week in a month where we have all three kids. And I think, one of those mornings, if we, or afternoons maybe, because mornings they like to play and have a little pajama time. But at some point on that weekend, I spend a couple hours and giving to someone, not knowing that we are in a power where we can, or a place where we can share our time. And um, maybe it'll help bring in the gratitude as well that
Yeah.
we have what we have by sharing it with others. They'll see. So I don't know. I don't know if Edmonton has a place like that where you could a volunteering night center or
Well,
something.
I wonder too, even like a soup kitchen, like if we took, if I went one day and I wore one of the kids on my back, like carried them even just so they could be exposed to it and see it.
Hmm.
And Alyssa's already entrenched in dialogues around stuff, so we could talk about how we're helping these people and helping them be happier and healthier and whatever. Like just start to create that exposure to it, even if they're not like my kids are a bit young yet to physically do too much. Um, you know what just came to my mind? Like, what if we went to like the hospital or went somewhere to go and spread some joy, or a seniors facility? That actually could be a fun thing to do. Just go spend time. I bet there's a lot of people who are like feeling a little bit extra lonely right now too, because either they can't get out of their house or people don't come and visit them or whatever that experience is for them. But maybe there's a way to volunteer to spending some time,
Yeah, well,
quality
my
time.
mom, every second year, my mom would have to work. She works at a nursing home, and I
Yeah.
would get dressed up in my Sunday best, and I'd have a little basket, and I'd walk around the nursing home and give little treats to all the residents, and get pinched on the cheek because that's what they do, right? Like I was, but after Sunday, like, because we didn't really do much with Christmas morning when mom wasn't there.
Yeah.
She'd work 7 till 3, but I'd get up and get dressed and go walk around on Christmas morning at mom's work, so the nursing home. So I do remember that. And nursing homes are good, I think, because they do. It's one of those things where you set them and forget them as a society we do. So that's
I
nice.
think
Yeah.
that resonates a lot. I'm going to look into doing that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that story. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that could be a part of that, like a cross between traditions and giving and awareness as to, for the kids too, even just to see how the evolution of life goes, right? Like I want them to be exposed to all different ages and types and
Yeah.
circumstances so that they have gratitude for their life, but they also see where they can maybe contribute in the world and what sort of problems they wish to solve or help to make better around them, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
I don't
true.
think that we should ever grow up. This is a whole other segue, but Alyssa and I have been talking about growing up from the physical sense, but I keep reminding her that I hope she never actually like grows up. She always stays like just stays free and free spirited and I think that yeah, I think that's a cool way to do that is just exposure for them, right?
Well, then they can find out what their causes are too. The more that they get involved with different things, the more that they can find out what drives them, right?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Is
Hmm.
there anything else that you need to say complete on the holidays?
No, just that we wish for everyone a very joyous time over the next month. Try to do what you can to stay present and realize what's really important for you over the next little while so you're not putting undue stress on yourself. You too, Tara, and myself too. Like
Yeah.
we all afford to give ourselves the gift of happiness and joy and flow for the holiday season. It doesn't mean that it's
Yeah.
not going to feel a little stressful from here to there, but I think that just really staying connected to what it's all about for you in your value systems in your family and making sure that it's just true to that and not getting distracted, especially with social media and all the different sorts of ways that you're supposed to show up over the holidays and things you're supposed to do. Remember that all that stuff is just BS. They're different belief systems. They're just the way that different people do things, right? And you can subscribe or you don't have to, but we don't have to make anybody wrong. We just spread joy and light and love, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. Laugh a lot and be happy and enjoy the people you're with.
Make merry.
Exactly, exactly. All right,
Well,
well,
you know
I'm
what
gonna
I
go
feel
and drink.
very clear.
Pardon?
What did you say?
Yeah, I want to go and have a hot drink now.
Hmm. Yeah, soothe that throat so that we can chat again next week.
Yes, Tuesday
Yeah,
at
next
noon.
week, the next 2 weeks, we were going to have a conversation around planning for the new year because I think that is a big component of, for me, for December, is reflecting upon what's happened over the course of the year and where we want to go for the next year, especially with a bit of the slowdown seasonally, hibernate and recharge. So the next couple of weeks, we'll chat about goal planning and not just goals, but preparing and aligning yourself to feel what you want to feel for the next year. And then we were
Yes,
going to have a little
absolutely.
toast on the Christmas one because it's like the 22nd is our actual Christmas one, right? Or was it Christmas Day? I can't remember.
I can't
Oh,
remember,
it's the
hon, to be
25th.
honest.
It's actually Christmas Day. Right, right.
Yes,
So
yeah,
we were going to have
yes,
just a quick cheers instead of our normal
yes,
chat.
exactly, because it's Christmas. But yes, we'll still touch base as it is our Tuesday time.
Put on your festive
That's
hat, everyone. Have a great holiday season and let us know where we can bring a little joy into your lives.
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Talk to you
Bye.
soon.